So I'm being led to talk about what led me to my self-love journey. Well, I was married or with my husband for over 25 years. And after after he passed away in 2019, I um I took some time by myself and then I started dating. Okay? And I dated a total of 3 men within a period of 3 years. Well, during that time, and after the third guy, I decided that my picker was wrong. Like something was off. Like something ain't right. Because the guy that the third guy that I was dating, um, it was just something about. I started paying attention to how he and I interact with one another, and how everything just did not seem. I don't know. Everything just did not seem right. So I started paying attention to how my body was reacting to him and how I felt around him. My nervous system was just not right. So, of course, the common denominator in all three of these relationships was me. So I'm like, you know what? I need to do something to figure out what's going on with me, right? So I started to look into self-care. Started looking into self-healing. I started to research a lot of these things, and then it took me back to childhood traumas and how to heal my childhood wounds. And I started to do the work. And it dawned on me, it wasn't none but God, but it dawned on me that this work, this spiritual work, this this consciousness mindset work, it it didn't come all of a sudden. It started with one thing, and then it grew into this huge epiphany that I needed to do a overhaul of my entire way of thought process, my entire thought process. And so after I analyzed who I was, how I showed up, what was going on with me, I was able to come to the conclusion that um that when the word says faith without works is dead, because I had plenty of faith. I knew that God, was going to see me through a lot of things that I was dealing with or whatever, but the works part was the part that got me. And I had to learn that it takes you to be so deliberate about what you need in your life and what it is you want to accomplish. You have to be so intentional about your own self-healing. And then God put it in my spirit about knowing thyself. How can you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? He says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if I couldn't love myself, how could I love somebody else? So that's what led me to my self-love, self-care, and self-awareness journey. And I actually went in 2000, I think it's 2023. Associate of mine gifted me a what is it, flow therapy session. And baby, that flow therapy session, whoa, I was not expecting what came after that. I really wasn't. It opened me up to a lot of things spiritually that I wasn't looking I wasn't looking for. And now that I'm aware of myself spiritually and mentally, it's it has it has actually unlocked some things within me that was already in me. It was already my innate um ability and nature. However, I was not prepared for it at the time. It took some time for me to become fully aware, fully in depth of who I was, internally and spiritually. So, yeah, so that is what led me to my self-love, self-care journey. Um and interesting enough, there were a lot of other things that took place during that time as well, because once my spiritual gifts came online, um of course I started to get um these different revelations about people in general. For a long time I was like, oh gosh, I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be around people at all. But I I learned so much about who I was, and once I started to come out of isolation and interact with others, it kind of made me take a deeper look at how um certain people move and operate, and it made me understand their plight. It made me understand that they certain people, people don't understand the things that they do. They don't understand the depths of the concepts of the words they speak. They don't understand the concept or the depth of their actions, you know and how certain things affect their spiritual, their spirit man. They don't People just don't, they're not fully um capable of comprehending that, because everybody's not willing to do that work that it takes